Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. Um, Good morning, Christine. Glad you're here. Welcome. We made it. It's the end of the week. Saturday. Yay. I decided to bring some sunshine with my tie-dye since it's a little gloomy outside. Um, so welcome to your practice. For those of you who maybe are new or haven't practiced with me, I'm Jaime. If you didn't see in the chat, if you have a block or a block-like object, water bottle, or maybe a paper towel roll, go ahead and grab that now. I think like Seville did earlier, I'm just going to keep talking to give you time to get the thing that you need. So just make sure that you have something on hand. We're going to use this a little bit at the beginning of our practice. Yeah, so as always, these practices are just kind of meeting you where you're at. So not overdoing it, not like going for gold, if you will. So taking what you need and leaving what you don't this morning. It's a Saturday. If you just literally roll out of bed, maybe you just grab a blanket and find your beverage of choice and hang out. If you're needing more, feel free to add on or modify, plank for an hour if you'd like. This practice, I made it so we're kind of going to be slow and steady throughout the whole practice. And as I was moving through it, I want you to kind of feel like you're moving through molasses or honey or whatever your sticky choices. But just make sure that you're kind of really taking time to move through the shapes, lingering if you need to. If we're moving on, but you need to hang out, maybe do that. Hello, good morning, Debbie. Hello, Jennifer. Glad you're here. So yeah, just keeping that in the back of your mind as we move through our practice to just kind of take things slow and feel all of the sensations or the things that might be stuck in the body and just kind of slowly work them out, feel them out, and see where you're at. So with that, we're going to get started laying down. Make sure that your block is handy so you can easily reach it once you're laying down. And if you are wanting to use the playlist this morning, go ahead and hit play. The link is in the chat, and we will just get right into it. So as you are starting out this morning, coming to lay flat, I want you to bring hands down at your sides, not super close to the body, a little further out. And then just turning those palms up towards the sky. So a little external rotation of the shoulders here to kind of open up the heart, open up the chest. And then just start to kind of melt down into your mat. And as with all of our practices, just starting with that sense of awareness. So we've made it through a week of work or to-do lists or whatever you've got going on. And so just taking this time this morning to check in, see where the mind is at this morning as you settle into stillness. Taking some time to kind of take stock or inventory of how the body is feeling. Recognizing those areas that might need a little extra love or attention as we start to move. And just kind of creating this ground floor baseline understanding of where you're at and what you're needing for your practice. And then just starting to bring a little more intention to the breath here. Inhaling fully, filling up the belly with air. And then exhaling fully, letting it all out. And spending some time with this breath so that it starts to become really fluid and easy creating space with your inhale, honoring that space with your exhale. Spending just a few more moments here in this stillness with your breath. Using this time to set intention or focus for your practice. This morning, I just invite you again to maybe slow things down. Be a little more intentional with the movement or with where your mind is traveling to. Be intentional with that movement of inhales and exhales in the body. Just allowing that focus to really kind of honor the space that we've created to start our weekend. I don't know about the rest of you, but sometimes when I get into my yoga practice, I just get excited to get into it. And so I tend to move through things a little more quickly, which then creates this space for my mind to also kind of dart off into other things. And so this morning, with this intention of slowing things down, just allowing that thought process to kind of come back and be centered and really focused on what you're needing in the moment. With our next inhale, we're going to start to reach those arms back behind us. So just getting really long through the body, maybe reaching a little longer through the left side, a little longer through the right side. Alternating here. Maybe you roll out the wrists and roll out the ankles. And then just getting really long one more time, pointing the toes, reaching the fingers back, lengthening through the whole body here. And then just release and kind of let everything flop where it's at. So we're going to start to take the feet over to the right edge of your mat. Maybe you cross that ankle over. You can stay if this feels like enough. If you're wanting more, just bringing the upper part of the body over towards that right corner as well. The key here is keeping hips still planting down onto the ground. Shoulders are also still pressing down into the mat. Just finding this little banana-like stretch. Insider tip, this is not the last time we're going to do this side stretch. So maybe just finding the space that you need here, breathing that breath into the side body, feeling that length and stretch. And we'll start to bring that upper body back to center, bringing those feet back to center and just walking them over to the left. Same option, maybe you cross the ankles. And then if you want that extra stretch here, the top body will move over towards the left, finding that nice long side stretch. Inhaling into the side ribs, feeling that length from ankle all the way up to the wrist. And then we'll start to bring the upper body back to the center, bringing those feet back to the center. And the hands can just come to rest down on the belly. So we're going to start to bring our attention to the lower half of our body. So waist down. Feet are going to be flexed. So toes are pointing up towards the sky here. Little inner rotation of the thighs down towards the mat, really engaging the legs, almost like you're standing or you're pressing those feet into an imaginary wall. And then bringing a little attention to the low belly and the core here. So if you are like, Jamie, it is Saturday morning, I do not want to think about my core, don't. You can just skip this part. But if you're wanting a little core engagement, just thinking about belly button pulling to spine, feeling that engagement of the low belly here. And just holding this active engagement in the legs for a couple breaths. So maybe recognizing what parts of this are wanting to let go first. And then we'll just kind of release and let go, let those feet flop out. We're going to grab our block or whatever you're using for a block. If you don't have one, that's okay. All the same work can be done with your imaginary block. So we're just going to bring it to rest it right on the belly. And then start to find that deep engagement in the legs again. So feet are flexing, pressing out through the heels, inner rotation of the thighs down towards the mat. We're going to bring the block up towards the sky. So hands on the long edges here. Holding that block straight up. And then just doing a little plug of the shoulders down and back into the mat. Little engagement here. Finding that little moment of core happening. If this is enough, it feels like a lot, you can hang out here. If you're wanting a little bit more, we're going to keep that engagement of the shoulders and the core and the legs as we start to drop that block back behind us. So stopping point is where you start to feel any of those things start to release or let go. So maybe you stay here. Maybe that block drops back behind any amount. Keeping that engagement. If you're wanting a little more here, maybe that left heel floats up off the mat. Lengthening through the heel. We'll bring that heel down. Arms are going to slowly start to press right back up to the sky. And then just pausing here for a moment. So maybe you let things release, shake that out, and then just start to find all of that engagement again. So feet are flexed, thighs are rotating down, shoulders are plugged down into the mat, core is engaged. Option to stay or starting to drop that block back behind you. Keeping all of those things engaged. If you want more, maybe that right heel starts to float. We'll bring that heel down, slowly pressing those hands back up towards the sky. We'll just bring that block down to the belly. Let those legs relax, and then we'll just set that aside. And we'll start to hug knees in towards the chest, finding a little movement side to side here. And we're going to pause in stillness with these knees hugged in. We're going to start to find a little bit of flow and movement with this shape. So we'll just move hands over to the right knee, and that left leg is going to start to press out straight. So we're just going to start to alternate here with each breath, pressing that opposite leg out as you hug that knee in towards the chest. So again, thinking about taking this movement nice and slow, maybe feeling that little engagement of the core as you alternate, moving with the breath. We'll do 2 more each side. Bringing both those knees back in towards the chest. Starting to find a little forward and back movement. We're gonna come all the way up into a nice comfy seat. Settle in here. Nice big reach, hands to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. We'll move through that 2 more times here. Inhale, nice big reach. Exhale, hands to heart. 1 more time. Inhale and reach. Exhale, hands to heart center. So we're gonna grab our handy dandy block friend again. Again, you can use your block-like object or your imaginary block. And we're gonna put hands on the long edges here and then just start to bring the arms straight out in front. So I'm gonna turn so I can show you a few things. If any of you have been to a yoga and beer retreat in the past, you've probably done this exercise and maybe groaned or cried through it, but we're gonna do it anyway because it's good for you. So hands are gonna come straight out in front, and we wanna make sure that our spine is nice and tall. So we don't wanna like round it out and get really lazy in the back. We want everything to be really solid here. So arms are reaching forward. We're gonna plug those shoulders back. Keeping that core engagement happening, we're gonna start to lift those hands up towards the sky. So they don't have to go all the way up. Maybe your shoulders are saying, this is nice and happy, we're gonna stay here, and that's okay. But the key here is to make sure that we're not like getting really sassy. That core is staying engaged as we find this lift up. I bet you didn't think that holding a block or a block-like object would be so hard. We're gonna start to bring it back down to that level space. Pausing here, making sure to breathe. Making sure those shoulders are plugged back. We're gonna lift that block 1 more time. Maybe you take it higher, maybe you don't. Keeping all of those things engaged. We'll start to bring it back to level. And then we're just gonna set it aside. And I promise that's the last of the blocks. So from here, nice big reach, hands to the sky. Right hand is gonna come down to the mat, just reaching up and over, finding that nice long side stretch here. Both hands to the sky. Same thing other side, bringing that left hand down, reaching up and over. Inhale to reach. Each side 1 more time. Right hand comes down, reaching over. Both hands to the sky. Last one here. Nice big reach. Hands are gonna come to hearts. And we're just gonna make our way all the way up and over into our table. So taking some time to get set up, wrists below the shoulders, knees below the hips. We're gonna take a couple rounds of our cat-cow. Inhale, drops the belly, lifts the heart. Exhale, rounding that back. Moving through this a few times here. Again, coming back to that sensation or idea of moving through molasses or moving through something that just causes you to slow things down. Feel all of that kind of resistance or those sensations. We'll start to make our way into our nice flat tabletop. Feeling that little engagement of belly button to spine, crown of the head is reaching nice and long here. We're gonna send those left toes back behind us and then start to fly that back foot. Again, keeping that core engaged, making sure that we haven't turned into a valley. So everything is staying nice and solid. Option to reach that right arm forward. With our exhale, crunching it in, elbow to knee, reaching it right back out, nice and long. We'll move through this a couple times here. Finding that crunch, reaching it out. Nice long reach. We're going to bring that hand back down, just crossing that foot back behind us, looking over that right shoulder. And then we'll bring it right back into our table. Inhale, drops the belly, lifts the heart. Exhale, rounding the back, pressing away. Settling back into our tabletop. We're going to send those right toes back behind us. And then start to fly that foot. Option to reach that left arm forward. We're going to find those same crunches here. So exhale, brings elbow to knee. Inhale, presses it right back out. One more time. Nice long reach. Hand will come down, just crossing that foot back behind us, looking over that left shoulder. And then bringing it right back to table. Inhale, drops the belly, lifts the heart. Exhale, rounds the back as you tuck those toes, hips up and back, down dog. Just spending a couple breaths here, bending into the knees, finding any little movements to kind of wake up the body in this down dog shape. We'll press those heels down and back. With our inhale, rolling up onto tiptoes. Exhale, presses the heels back. Moving through this a couple times. Inhale to find that lift. Exhale to send it back. We're going to take a nice deep bend to the knees here, looking forward between the hands, walking or hopping forward, forward fold. Bending deeply into the knees, slowly rolling all the way up. Once you're there, nice big reach, hands to the sky. Exhale, hands, heart center. Inhale, nice big reach. Folding forward. Hands come to shins or tops of thighs, nice flat back here. Folding forward. Inhale, reaches all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. We're going to move through that one more time. Inhale, nice big reach. Folding forward. Halfway lift. Folding forward. Inhale, reaches all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. We're going to bring hands just down at our sides. So palms are facing forward. Heart is lifting up towards the sky. You have the option to keep the hands down at your sides. You can also reach hands up towards the sky. We're going to start to shift weight into that left foot. Right knee is coming up. Taking a moment, finding the balance. And then we're going to start to send that foot all the way back behind, stepping into our lunge. Hands to the sky. Inhale, straightens that front knee. Exhale finds that bend. We'll move through that 2 more times. Inhale to lift. Exhale to bend that knee. We're going to start to reach the arms forward here, pressing the palms together, interlacing the fingers. We're going to press those hands straight out in front. So pressing away from the body, feeling that little bit of movement in the shoulders. And we'll start to take those hands up towards the sky any amount. Pausing here. Again, checking back in with the torso. So making sure that we're not kind of like flaying everything out. Everything is staying nice and stacked here. We're going to start to take those hands over towards the left, finding that banana-like shape. Coming back to center. We're going to take them over to the right, finding that strong foundation in the legs. Bringing it back to center. One more time to the left. Bringing it right back up. We'll release those fingertips. Hands come down around the foot. Any way you want to get there. Stepping it back. Down dog. With our inhale, rolling forward, finding plank. Knees are going to drop. Heart presses forward, elbows bend straight back as you lower. Untucking those toes. Big shrug of the shoulders, baby cobra. We'll roll right back down. Pressing it back to table. Tucking toes, lifting hips, down dog. We're going to send that left foot up and back. And then we're going to start to bend that knee, just rolling open in that hip. So finding this little kind of scorpion leg. And then pressing that foot back. And then we're going to step it all the way forward. Coming on up, high lunge. Shifting that weight forward. Right knee is coming up towards the chest. Foot to the floor. Hands to heart center. Inhale, nice big reach. Exhale, hands to heart. And then just bringing them right down at our sides. So same option again. Hands can stay here. You can reach hands to the sky, either option. We're going to start to shift weight into that right foot this time. The left knee comes up. Pausing for that moment of balance. When you're ready, sending that foot back behind, stepping into that high lunge. Hands to the sky. Find a little movement here. Inhale to lift. Exhale, bends that knee. 2 more times. Settling back in. Hands are going to reach forward. We're going to find that clasp again. So maybe you remember which thumb was on top. You can flip it and reverse it. Hands are going to press out and forward. And then we're going to take them up towards the sky. So again, taking a moment of pause here, checking in with the torso, making sure the ribs aren't flying out, everything is stacked, that core is engaged. We'll take those hands over towards the right, pressing out back through that left heel, coming back to center, over to the left. Back to center. One more time to the right. Bringing it back up. Releasing that clasp. Hands come down around the foot, stepping it back. Down dog. With our inhale, rolling forward, finding plank. Knees can stay lifted or you can drop them again. Heart pulls forward as you lower. Untucking those toes, finding that baby cobra. Maybe you press up any amount more. And then we're taking it back, down dog. Right foot's gonna press up and back. We're gonna start to bend that knee and open up that hip, finding that scorpion leg. Pressing that foot straight back, stepping it forward. Coming up, high lunge. Shifting that weight forward, left knee's coming all the way up to the heart. Foot to the ground, hands to heart center. Again, just bringing those palms down at your sides. Coming back to that shape that we started. So palms are facing forward, little rotation of the shoulders, heart is lifting. Checking back in with that breath, checking back in with the intention for your practice. Reach those hands up towards the sky. Interlacing the fingers, hands press up. We'll start to take this upper body over towards the right. Bringing it back to center. Over to the left. Back to center. Releasing that clasp, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Folding forward. Left foot's gonna stay, right foot steps back. Coming on up, high lunge. Pausing for a breath. Then we're gonna start to drop that back heel, opening it up, warrior two. Taking a moment of stillness here. So checking in with the legs and that foundation, making sure it feels nice and solid. We're gonna inhale, straighten that front knee as the arms reach up. Warrior two. Inhale to lift. Warrior two. One more time, just like that. Inhale to reach up. Warrior two. We're gonna keep the knee, that front knee bent. Arms are gonna reach up. We're interlacing those fingers. I warned you, we're gonna do a lot of repetitive things today. Pressing those hands up towards the sky. So feeling this length from the hips and the waist all the way up through the body here, while the foundation of the legs stays nice and solid. So from this shape, we're gonna start to find our reverse. So tipping towards that back leg, feeling that length from hip all the way to wrist, making sure to still bend into that front knee, coming up to center. And then we're gonna take it forward towards that extended side angle shape. So a little core work here, feeling that length again from that back foot all the way up through the wrist. Coming back up to center, straightening that front knee, finding that bend. We're gonna move through that again, same thing here. So finding our reverse, lengthening out through those palms, bending into that front knee, coming back to center, extended side angle. Bringing it back up, straightening that front knee. Warrior two. We'll find our reverse this time, left arm up, right arm down the back leg. Coming forward, forearm to thigh. Right arm can be straight up or reaching forward. Bringing it up, warrior two. Hands are gonna come down around that foot, stepping it back, down dog. 5 breaths, your choice. You can move through that vinyasa. You can hang out in down dog, maybe come to table or child's pose. Or take a sip from your beverage of choice. Nothing mysterious in my water bottle, just water. We'll come to meet in our down dog. If it makes sense, right foot reaches up and back, stepping it forward. Coming on up into our high lunge. And then we're gonna drop that back heel, opening it up, warrior two. I'm gonna flip around to face you. So taking a moment to pause here, checking in with that nice, strong foundation of the legs. Inhale to lift. Warrior two. 2 more times. Taking it nice and slow, feeling all the sensations. That front knee is going to stay bent. Arms are going to reach up. We're going to find that interlacing of the fingers. So again, if you can remember which hand was on top or which thumb, flip it around. And then find that reach and that length here. Getting long through both sides of the body. We'll start to take it back into our reverse. Bringing it back to center. Over into that extended side angle. Bringing it back up. Straightening that front knee. Finding that bend. Running through this one more time. Into that reverse. Feeling that length and that lift. Coming to center. Over into that extended side angle. Bringing it back. Straightening that front knee. Warrior two, arms are released. Finding that reverse right arm to the sky. Coming forward, forearm to thigh, extended side angle. Bringing it back, warrior two. Hands are going to come down around the foot. Again, stepping it back, down dog. 5 breaths, your choice, movement or stillness. We're all going to come to meet in our table shape. So knees will drop, wrists below the shoulders here. We're going to start to send that left foot back behind, rolling to the inner blade of that foot, and then bringing that left hand up towards the sky. So pausing here for a moment. If this is enough, you can stay. Maybe you start to press that arm forward, finding that nice long length through the side. If you want more, maybe that back foot starts to lift. So that nice long line from fingertips to heel, making sure to not crunch down into that bottom arm, but staying up and lifted out that shoulder. We'll bring that foot down if it's lifted, bringing that hand back up to the sky, rolling back down, coming into our table. Same thing other side, right foot reaches back. We'll roll to the inner blade of that foot and then start to reach that right arm up towards the sky. Option to stay, or that palm facing forward, lengthening that arm along the ear. And if you want more, maybe that back foot starts to fly. Feeling that length and that lift. If the foot is lifted, we'll bring it down, arm back up. Hand comes down to the mat, making our way back to table. We're just going to send our hips all the way back, settling into a child's pose here. Maybe taking the knees a little wider. Forehead can come down towards the mat. Just taking a couple breaths here to check in with the breath, checking back in with that intention. We'll start to press into the hands, tucking toes, lifting hips, down dog. Bending into the knees, looking forward between the hands, walking or hopping forward, forward fold. Inhale reaches all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to come into a little bit of movement. Sorry, I feel like I'm going to run into the wall in a second. We're going to come into a little bit of flow and movement with some balance. So you have a couple options for the arms. Hands can be at heart center. You can bring hands to hips as another option. So we're just going to start both feet on the ground. Heart is lifting up towards the sky. And you can also reach your arms nice and long if that is happy for you. We'll start to shift weight into the left foot, bringing that right knee up towards the chest. Pausing here for a moment. We're going to start to take that knee out to the side, this beer yogi Captain Morgan shape, and then bring that knee back to center. Sending that foot back behind, stepping into our lunge. Maybe those hands reach up towards the sky. And then we're going to shift that weight forward. Knee comes right back up to the chest. So we're going to move through this 2 more times. That knee comes out to the side. Coming back to center. Sending it back to that lunge. Maybe you reach up. And then bringing that knee right back into the chest. 1 more time. And again, just really slowing it down, feeling that connection with the breath. Ending with that knee right back up in towards the heart. We're going to send that foot back behind 1 more time, settling into that lunge. Starting to straighten that front knee. Hands are going to reach up towards the sky. And then we're going to start to fold forward. So you can always plant that back heel if that's more comfortable. You can stay up. You can maybe find your block to give a little support to the hands by this foot. But we're just finding a little stretch through that front leg. So maybe it has a little bend if that makes it a little happier on those hamstrings. And then we'll bend into that knee. And we're just going to step that back foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, reaches all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. So we're going to move through that on the other side. Same options. Hands can be at your sides. They can be at heart, at hips, or reaching towards the sky. Shifting weight into that right foot. Left knee comes up. Taking it out to the side. Bringing it back to center. Sending that foot back behind. Maybe those hands reach up. And then we're going to bring that knee right back up into the heart. Moving through this 2 more times. Taking a breath to find each of these movements. Slowing it down. Maybe you pause or linger. in a shape a little longer. One more time. Ending with that knee up towards the heart. We're going to send it back behind us one more time. Same options here. Maybe you plant that back heel, straightening that front knee. We'll start to fold forward. So hands can come down to the shin, to the floor, to a block. Any amount of bend in that front knee that you need. Bend into that front knee, stepping that back foot forward. Forward fold. Inhale reaches all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. We have one last round of standing balance moment. So both feet firmly planted down into the mat. Hands can be at heart to start, or you can bring hands to the hips, either option. We're going to start to shift weight into that left foot. Right knee is going to come up. Taking that knee out to the side. And then we're coming into our tree pose. So you can kickstand it, calf or thigh, pausing for a moment. So just getting the legs, that lower half of the body set, feeling confident and strong here. We're going to start to reach the arms forward, interlacing those fingers. I promise this is the last time. Well, the other side will be the last time. And then pressing those palms away. And then maybe you start to take those hands up towards the sky. So if you really just want your original OG tree pose, you can find that. If you're happy here, you can stay. If you want a little more challenge this morning, maybe you start to take the body over towards that bent leg, finding that kind of banana-like stretch in this tree pose. If you fall out, you fall out. Just pause and find it again. And if you're in that banana shape, we'll bring it right back to center, bringing that knee back forward, both feet on the ground, and then just letting those hands release down at your sides. Same thing other side, last round here. So starting with the feet, shifting weight into that right foot, left knee's gonna come up. We're gonna take that knee out to the side and then settle into your version of a lower half tree pose, focusing on the legs first. So finding that foundation here. Maybe you take those hands forward. If you can remember which thumb was on top, switching it up to find that clasp, pressing out through the palms, and then hands might reach up towards the sky. So again, option to stay, finding that length here. If you want, you can start to find that little bit of tilt over towards that bent knee. Just like a super leaning tree. A tree that's got a little wiggle. And then we'll bring it back to center, bringing that knee forward, both feet on the ground, letting those hands just fall. Inhale, nice big reach. We're gonna fold forward. Halfway lift. Fold forward. Bending the knees a lot. We're just coming all the way down to our bums. You can move through a squat if you want, or you can plop. That works too. And we're gonna bring soles of the feet together, settling into this butterfly shape. So spine is nice and tall. Maybe you have hands on feet or ankles, just letting those knees fall out any amount here. We're going to breathe here for a couple breaths. So maybe you let the eyes close, just settling in to the shape. And start to blink those eyes open. We're going to bring the left foot out straight, leaving that right knee bent. Arms are going to reach up towards the sky. Just a little turn of the torso towards those left toes. And then we're going to start to fold forward over that leg. Keeping the spine long here. Crown of the head lengthening towards those toes. And slowly just walk those hands back towards the hips. We're going to plant that right hand right behind the right hip and then start to press into the hand and this kind of outer part of the shin as you come up and reach that other arm back behind you. So a nice long stretch. Opening up the front side of the body. And then we'll bring it right back down. And then we're just going to switch sides. So lengthening that right leg out, left knee's bent. Arms are going to reach up to the sky, turning the torso towards those toes as we start to fold forward. Again, taking time to settle in here. Feeling that length through the spine. And we'll start to bring it right back up. Bringing that hand right behind that left hip and then starting to press up onto that shin as you reach up and back. We'll bring it right back down. And then we're just gonna bend the knees, take a nice little roll down onto our back. Once you're there, hugging those knees in towards the chest. Maybe finding a little movement side to side here. And keeping those knees hugged in, arms can come out into a T shape or that cactus arm shape. We're just going to take the knees over to the right, settling into your twist, feeling the shoulders melting down into the mat. Feeling that length and stretch through the side. Just giving yourself some time and space to kind of really melt into the shape. Feeling that release, that kind of sinking sensation as you melt a little more down into the mat. spending just a couple more breaths here, maybe finding any amount more of release or that let go of those areas that are feeling kind of sticky or stuck. And we'll just gently start to bring the knees right back to center, pausing here for a moment with those knees just hugged in. And then we'll take them over to the left. So same options. Arms can be in that T shape or cactus arm shape, giving this side the same amount of time and space to kind of settle in, melt into the mat here. Shoulders are pressing down towards the floor. Feeling that length and stretch through the side. And just letting that kind of melt or release start to happen in the body. Couple more breaths here. We'll just gently start to bring those knees back in to the center, wrapping the hands around the shins or reaching for the feet, just really hugging the knees in. Maybe you tuck the head up towards the knees. And then when you're ready, just start to release down into that final shape. Maybe you come back to how we started, palms facing up towards the sky, taking up a little space on your mat. And just start to settle back into that stillness, that calm that we started our practice with. Coming back to that awareness, that kind of check in moment to see where you're at the end of your practice. Has anything shifted or released? Was the mind allowed to kind of settle in, find some space and some calm? And as you start to kind of melt into this shape, melting into your mat, recognizing what you might need from this practice or from the intention that you set to kind of carry with you into the rest of your weekend or into the next week. Just allowing that to settle in the mind and in the heart. And just gently starting to bring a little awareness back to the space, allowing the breath to deepen. Maybe a little sway of the head side to side, little movements in fingers and toes. Just slowly taking your time, making your way to a side, and then at your own pace, making your way to a comfortable seat. Eyes closed, hands at heart center. Thank you all so much for starting your weekend with me, a little movement and core work. I'm super grateful to share this space with you this morning. The light within me honors the light in each and every one of you. Namaste. Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Before you head off into like very exciting weekend plans, we have some very exciting announcements. And I'm going to get closer because I miss you. So I'm scooching in. So starting in February, which is happening momentarily after tomorrow, we are doing a virtual passport, if you will, because we just missed doing passports last summer. So the newsletter went out yesterday, but there is also information on the website. So it's a 6-class pass. So there's a little sheet you can print out or save on your phone to just keep track of the virtual classes that you participate in February. So whether you're doing them live or if you're watching recordings when it makes sense to you, you can mark them on your pass. And then once you get 6, just send it to us and you get entered in to win a prize. And then on that pass sheet, if you do 3 more classes, so 9 classes total, you get a second entry. And they're really awesome prizes, okay? Like hoodie, flannel, also gift cards to like all of our favorite places that we miss so deeply. So if you haven't checked out the newsletter, go to the website and check out the class pass. You can download the little page to keep track. And then you can share it with us just as a way to kind of do a passport moment since we didn't get to do one last summer. So definitely check that out if you are interested. And then we will be partnering with Free Fridge Salem for the first half of February as well. So there's details about that on the social media. We have a donation center set up at the Ike Box for hygiene wipes if you want to drop some off. And then 2 of our classes, the beginning of February on Monday nights, will be donations will all go to supporting Free Fridge Salem. So definitely check that out as well. Yeah, February. It's going to be exciting. It's usually kind of dreary. So we're just doing all the cool, fun things. So thank you. I know, no chair. I'm sorry. I actually realized that halfway class that there's no chair pose, and I'm really sorry. There will be more chair soon. I promise. Thank you, Mickey. Thank you, Yulia. Yay. Yay. I'm glad, Debbie. I'm glad that you're here. Thank you, Catherine. Yay. Be well, Danny. Thank you so much. So yes, we will see you all virtually soon. But yeah, check out the ClassPass situation and see if you're interested in doing that. And have a really beautiful weekend, everyone. Cheers.